you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm so good. I love the hell out of this movie.
Oh, thank you.
So much fun. I want to start with there are a few Easter eggs that I noticed that are I probably noticed the more in-your-face ones on my first watch. But I'm curious, do you have a personal favorite that you got to incorporate that we should be a little more eagle-eyed for when we watch?
Well, there's a crazy one in it that's sort of like a coincidence, and it's like wild to me. So I'll give you this exclusive. So Josh Brolin is not the only Brolin in this movie. By complete coincidence, his dad is in it as well, because there is a clip of a film called Skyjacked, which we had written into the script because in the we had this idea that when he's in Molly, played by William H. Macy, he's in his basement, he's a black marketeer, and there are some old like cathode ray TVs, and it's playing an old film, and me and Michael Bacall had this idea, well, what if there's watching a film that could have a setup for later? It's like foreshadowing. So there's a movie called Skyjacked and I remember we were talking about airport films, and I said to Michael Bacall, oh, there's this film called Skyjacked where somebody holds up a plane with a grenade. So we wrote that in, we got the clip cleared, and this was all before Josh Brolin was cast as Killian. And then when Josh Brolin was cast, I suddenly said to him, hey, your dad's in the movie too. Because James Brolin plays the hijacker in Skyjacked.
Oh my God.
So it's a wild, wild thing that there are two Brolins in this movie.
That is wild.
That wasn't the Easter egg you were thinking of.
No, it wasn't, but I love it. I love it. Glenn told me that Arnold sold the movie last night.
Right. Yes. That was amazing. I mean, what was, it was very I was actually quite moved because I was worried about what he might think. He'd already been very generous to us because he gave us photo approval to have a little Easter egg in the movie.
Yep.
We had to get his approval for that, and he did. And because he'd done that, and because Glenn had worked with him and he knew Patrick, both of us felt like just before we started shooting, maybe we should try and talk to him, because he'd already given us his approval. So we did, we had this Zoom with him, like a couple of days before we started shooting. But yeah, he watched it last night. And what's interesting actually is like, because as you probably know, like, this is much, much closer to the book. It's not, I don't even really consider it a remake because the 1987 film is a very different adaptation of the source material.
Quite.
I sort of think of this as like a new adaptation of the same source material. But I will say, actually, the film that I would say has more influence over this, and I said this to Arnold last night, is Total Recall, because I love the Paul Verhoeven sci-fi films that he did, that run of like RoboCop, Total Recall, Starship Troopers, like not just great action films, but sort of satiric masterpieces as well. And I talked to him a little bit about that, and he said, he goes, oh yeah, no, I can see that. He sort of said the color schemes in places, and especially the opening of the movie. But it meant a lot to me that he didn't, he doesn't need to kind of give us his blessing or be so generous, and he has been, so that's really lovely.
Who is that?
I haven't even had a chance to tell my brother, who's an even bigger Arnie fan than me. I was literally gonna come and say, oh my God, Arnold's on the movie.
Yeah. I gotta wrap, but who is Arnold in the world? Have you thought about that?
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. We decided that in our different, if the film is in a slightly different 2025, the book is set in 2025.
Yes.
Stephen King picked that number out of the air in 1972 when he wrote it. It wasn't published till 1982, but it's set in the year 2025. We decided that in this somewhat alternate 2025 that they had changed the rules and somebody born outside the United States could run for president. So in our version of the future, the governor of California became the 45th President of the United States, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I love it.
So he's playing himself.
This is America, goddammit! And we don't put up with no bullshit! Yeah!